and go. Boris is going to be here. I'm going to kill the music. Oh, crap. 4 people just suddenly showed up all at once. Howdy, Boris. Great to see you, sir. And Tony. Howdy, sir. Great to see you as well. And Little Fat Morgan, a.k.a. Todd. Todd, the Titan of subs. I'm telling you. Have y'all watched his channel growth? Freaking going crazy. I like it. I like it a lot. Today we're going to have a punch champion. You can't read that. Just trust me. It's the champion shape. No, not in honor of a certain team out of Los Angeles, which is only the 2nd team to win the Super Bowl while playing in Los Angeles. I believe the first one actually just dominated the whole game, and there was no way that the refs could give it to the Redskins. And, well, the second one... So I'm going to go ahead and knock this out. I made this statement last Friday when I said, I honestly believe that the fix is in and that the NFL will figure out a way to have Team Zebra make sure that the Rams win. Let's look at what NFL has for money invested in such things. Let's see. 2 teams play in the same stadium in Los Angeles. Oh, Boris, I could guarantee that. Quite honestly, if it wasn't for the Bengals, nobody plays in Cincinnati. Cleveland. Sure, Cleveland. Because they've got the Indians. And they've got the Cavaliers. I'm pretty sure they've got an NHL team. And they've got the Browns. But if it wasn't for the Browns, Cincinnati wouldn't even give a shit about having a team. They'd all be Browns fans. We can be honest about that. Oh, the Reds are in Cincinnati. Yeah, I forgot about them. What have they done in the last 25 years? Yeah. It's kind of like that. Howdy, Steve. So, let's look at population center. Let's look at the last Super Bowl, the one before this, when two teams from two towns that couldn't scrape together 4 million people between the two of them. And you're saying, hey, 4 million people, that's a lot of people. Not really. Grand scheme of things. New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, all have more than 4 million people in one city. Cincinnati, you could take the whole population of Cincinnati and drop it off in Houston and call it a suburb, and we'd never even notice. We're fourth on that list. Take them up to New York and drop them off, and they'd all go broke affording the real estate, but New York would really never notice. The NFL needed a big city win. With the Raiders leaving California and the Chargers and the Rams doing almost exactly nothing last year. I mean, so the NFL, Roger Goodell, had to have a win. And there were so many horrible calls in the last 2 minutes of that Super Bowl. Now, anybody wants to tell me I'm wrong, you go ahead and you're going to have to point that out to me. But when you can't even get a whole offensive line false start, but on the same play you can get a defensive holding, which is an automatic first down, and move the sticks. No. You can't tell me the fix wasn't in. They stopped calling anything except for completely egregious fouls on Los Angeles. Oh, and conveniently, the one time they did call a foul on Los Angeles in the last 2 minutes, they also at the same time called a foul on Cincinnati. Now, previous to that, let's go back to previous to that. We have 58 minutes of game time down, right? Because game is 60 minutes long. 58 minutes. They called 2 penalties on the Rams, and they called 2 penalties on Cincinnati. There were some missed ones, but they basically were letting them play the game. Last 2 minutes, they changed all of that over to, never mind, we're going to have the Rams win. So, if they're going to do a whole lot of non-calls for 58 minutes, they should do a whole lot of non-calls for the last 2. Just my take on it. People in LA, y'all want to talk shit? That's fine. I was from Oakland. I'm in Houston. Come on down here and talk some shit. I will gladly invite you right up to the edge of the sidewalk. I won't pull a knife or a gun on you. We could sit. I'll pull chairs out there. I mean, you got to stay away from the house because my house, my family. But let's be honest. The Rams didn't win that game. Team Zebra won that game. Anybody want to tell me I'm wrong? Go ahead. Tell me how I'm wrong. You cannot call, what was it, 6 or 8 fouls in the last 2 minutes of a game, all against one team. And for any reason at all, think that I'm going to just say, oh yeah, that was legitimate. That wasn't legitimate. That was completely a farce. Hey, y'all remember the tuck rule? Yeah, I remember the tuck rule. Had my team benefited from a whole bunch of craptastic calls all against one team, I still would have said that's bullshit. Y'all remember that game against, I think it was Denver a couple of years ago, where the last 10 seconds of the game went like 8 plays? I remember that. I was down to saying, this is crap. Just forget it. I'm done. I don't need to see this crap. That was my team that won that game. I will tell you that I picked on my friend that is a Broncos fan after that game. But I would fully expect him to pick on me if his team had won. Of course, his team hasn't beat my team since that particular game, so I'm good with it. Refs shouldn't be deciding games in the NFL. That's just my take on it. They should be calling penalties, sure, but they shouldn't be deciding games. Now, that's not to say that if a team is committing egregious fouls, that they should just get away with it because it's the last 2 minutes and it's a close game and we shouldn't be calling this. No, there's some fouls you should be called for. There's definitely fouls you should be called for. But if you're not going to call it at least somewhat fairly, you got no business being a ref. I wouldn't have accepted that crap at a little league game. I wouldn't have accepted that crap at a high school game. I I wouldn't have accepted that crap in a college game. I definitely won't accept that crap out of somebody who calls themselves a professional league. Oh, by the way, all the advertisers, just to let you know, I only turned on the last 2 minutes of the game. But I already knew inside the last 2 minutes that there were only 2 penalties called on Los Angeles and 2 penalties called on Cincinnati all game. 4 total penalties. And then in the last 2 minutes, you're going to call 6, if not 8, to make sure that the home team wins the game. What you really said is y'all bowed down to crowd control and you said, we're not going to let our new monstrosity stadium get burnt to the ground. Nah, you should just throw away the whole damn NFL logo because that was crap. All right, I'm done with it. People want to tell me that I didn't know what I was talking about back on Friday when I said Team Zebra would decide the game. Yeah. Guess who was right? I'm not always right. Just letting you know. But I sure wasn't wrong on that call, huh? It's like I saw it all played out 100 times before. Maybe it's because I saw it played out too often in the last couple of years. By the way, bourbon. Texas bourbon, though. No, not an old fashioned this time, just bourbon. Morris, I realistically agree with you, but if you really want to make it fair, you have a person that has no staked interest in either one of those teams. You know what? You want me to call penalties from the booth, and it's Seattle and New York. I've got no staked interest. I don't care. Because I wouldn't. Now, I'd have to brush up on every rule of the game. But I know offsides when I see it. And I know pass interference when I see it. But so Boris, I mean, I'm good with it. And if the NFL wants to make it like one person who is going to be making that call at games, you know, find that Ed Hockley guy, drag his ass back in. put up a completely random draw team of referees. You got to be in the booth. Got to be in the booth. You're in the booth. Nobody knows who he is. You can't bribe the dude because nobody knows until the last possible second. And as far as same with every sport, every sport, I'm going to say every sport except for baseball, because you would turn baseball from a 3.5, 4 hour game to a 8 or 9 hour game, because every pitch would be contested. Oh yeah, you know, wrong decisions at the professional level no longer belong in the game. We have ultra 28K cameras that are the size of a freaking check tool. They could quite literally embed them down at every out of bounds spot. Have them laser finder right at field level. Hey, you broke the beam, you stepped out. It doesn't have to do nothing. I mean, literally, one little laser beam that says beep. Hey, somebody stepped out. It was right here. Automated camera that says, as soon as that beam is broken, takes a snapshot. Well, that tells you exactly who it is, because everybody's got a freaking number, and everybody would be visible right there. Boris, if they want to have the umpire behind the catcher calling the whole game, I mean, and they want it to be the robo ump, they would still need the guy back there for those close calls at the plate when runners coming in from third. I still have yet to see AI get that right. They're working on it, though. I mean, but come on. A game is completely watched as curling has gotten down to being able to judge it by the micrometer. Which stone is closest? We're damn near getting to the atomic level. Well, this one has one atom closer. I mean, and we can't get calls right in the NFL. Of course, I also believe that basketball and soccer should both have fines and penalties for flopping. Howdy, Donald Grant, Patrick Grant, not Donald Graham. I'm sorry. Your name paused on one of the white lines here that is my brick wall, and shit got flipped around in my head. I apologize about that. Not exactly my fault, but it's my fault. I take the blame. Yeah. Now, am I going to say that Cincinnati would have won that game? You know, I'm not saying that. I am not going to say Cincinnati would have won the game. I will say they probably should have won the game, but there was a bad call that got them a touchdown, so, you know, there's room to go either way there. Actually, it was a bad no call. But like I said, you get down to that last 2 minutes, and you've been calling pretty much nothing all day. You don't pick that last 2 minutes to start calling every little barely, oh, I touched this guy. No. Just no. Bourbon's got a little bit of a bite. Felt like pepper. I like it. But it kind of went down the wrong pipe when I gave that little cough. Boris, yeah, the holding call that started on a play that was a complete offensive false start. I mean, the whole line moved, and then a beat, and then the ball moved. That's supposed to be a dead play. 5-yard penalty, repeat the down. Which would have changed what Los Angeles needed for yardage, which would have changed the play call. Now, could the next play have been to cup in some other way and still gotten the yardage? Could have been. I'm not going to say it couldn't have been. But from that play, it was all LA. The only thing anybody wanted to see was Los Angeles win. That's all right. Just wait till next year when they have the Super Bowl in Las Vegas. I'm making my call right now with a new coaching staff and unsure possibilities going with quarterback. My team will not be in the Super Bowl. I got a feeling they're going to just basically let Carr play out his final season as a Raider and just not sign him the next year. And if he goes someplace else and gets signed, they'll say, good luck. Personally, I don't think he's that bad of a quarterback. in case y'all are wondering how come it's smoking so much better all of a sudden, I used my little check tool trick. It works like a charm. Here you go. Cigar knowledge for those of you who are pipe smokers. Howdy, Sharon. Great to see you, ma'am. And yes, I am okay. How about yourself? Check tool. The wire piece. Take the wire piece. Insert it as best you can directly into the center. Wiggle it back and forth, 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 back and forth. Now see, I'm just following the same exact channel as I've already pushed through here. But you get it all the way in there, and then you wiggle, 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 and you bring it right on back out. What you'll do, if you've had a plug, you've at least cleared a good percentage of the way through a small cigar. Wait, what? Cliff and wife are going to Muletown Pipe Show? We need to put him on the prayer list. I heard that his wife might kill him. That would be horrible. Yeah, Boris is thinking the same exact thing I am. Oh crap. I do like a good bourbon with a cigar. Now, if I just had a good bourbon. And note, I'm not going to tell you what name of the bourbon is, but it starts with a B, and I don't really much care for it. I'll be switching back to my 101 or my rare breed as soon as I can get this half-gallon bottle finished. And no, I'm not going to try and just slug it all down. Howdy, Jeff. Great to see you, sir. By the way, Jeff, if you missed it, we spent the first 30 minutes discussing how basically the NFL screwed Cincinnati. I wanted to try and keep it down to just 15, but yeah, Team Zebra, woohoo! You can't beat them. Well, Patrick, it did get kind of cold here, but I wouldn't say it froze over. Oh, very cool. So, the dentist's wife is not actually going to Muletown. She's just going to hang out with baby. James, not a problem. Brother, you asked for it. Now, if you ever want me to stop, you're just going to have to say, Donald, you're a little too controversial. You quit now. Ah, and Jeff's saying he might be at Muletown. Awesome. James, you know we love you, brother. And you're right. I should have been throwing a tailgate at you, like from way back, right after you first started. The first one I didn't know was going to happen. I just happened to be at Simon's show at the right time, and there you were, jumping from Simon's show with Josh to go hang out and do your own live show. And I was like, I love being there when people first start their live show startups, because there's that fun. It's new. It's nobody's ever done this one before, and I'm just gonna say, I love that look of people's face when you tell them, hey, you've been on for a whole hour already, and they're going like, what the hell? And I know this from experience. If you're trying to schedule for 1 hour, you are either going to say everything you need to say in the first 30 minutes, or you are going to need a whole extra hour. And with the way the YTPC is, where we see somebody's going live, if we've got even any kind of a slight hint about it, we're going to pile in, and then we're going to get it talking. Because we're going to chat back and forth. We're going to fill up the chat box. We're going to make it lively. I still remember James's first show when I said, you realize you've already been on for an hour, and he looked at the time and his mouth hung open for just a brief second, like, what the? You can add whatever explicative you want to that one, but I could see it in his face of, oh my God, I made that hour and it went by fast. Now he's doing a 2-hour show. Regular's clockwork. And if wrestling didn't come on, or Oak Island, sorry, it's not wrestling, it's Oak Island. If Oak Island didn't come on, he'd probably do 3. Now, James, I'm not trying to strong arm you into 3 when Oak Island ends. But there's times where James gets to the end of the show and he's like all having to race to get done. That's what I love about tailgating. All I gotta do is say, hey, I'll catch you live over there on their channel here in just a minute. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. Click, and boom, I'm out of there. Oh, and yes, I am subbed and notified bell and all of the notifications possible to all of those channels that I regularly tailgate for, because I'm hoping that YouTube will tell me that they've gone live. 9 times out of 10, nah. The only one that seems to work on a regular basis is Robert, ENA's dad. Howdy, Everett Young. Great to see you, sir. Everett, did you hear that Cliff's going to Muletown? And almost taking his wife, too. Sorry, that was breaking news for me. Bourbon. I'm going to say this about the Texas bourbons. Not that I'm against them. but none of them seem to be aging their product for the 10 to 12 or more years that I tend to enjoy the flavors of. I also tend to like bourbon that's been aged, 10 to 12, 14, whatever, how many ever years in a number 4 alligator char new oak cask. I might know a little bit about wild turkey. Just a little bit. Sharon, my cats are all right. The stray is a little bit upset with me right now. I don't know what the stray got into or what got into the stray, or maybe somebody shot him with a BB, or I don't know. But he showed up here. And he used to show up every third day like clockwork. He would disappear for 2 days, show up for 1 day, get himself a couple of meals, and then disappear for 3 days or for 2 days. Rain, shine, cold weather, didn't matter. That was his pattern. And he'd always show up with little cat scrap type scars and boo-boos. This last time he showed up limping, and he was on day 6. Well, the women folk were a bit worried, so when he showed up, I picked him up, put him into the mud room, made up a bed for him, got him a plate of food, which is kind of normal. But then I saw he was limping badly, like putting no pressure on one of his front legs. And now I know he chases rats away, and I know he likes to take a dump in the mean guy next door's garden. And I know he likes to mark off a lot of territory because he's male. But I don't like seeing animals hurt. Apparently, for no reason. So the wife and I have been blotting. We have a natural soap product that is goat's milk and lye soap, basically. Mild, but it is lye soap. Lye soap will draw any infection towards the top. We've been blotting the wound with that. And then after I get him dried off, I will put Neosporin on it. Neosporin's safe for cats. Trust me, I found that out. Made sure to check that. It's a cute cat. I'll see if I can't find a picture real quick. Let's see. Can I find a picture? Oh, I'll show you a picture of Trump. Okay. Adding 2 pictures in. Okay. One of Trump. Giving his big blue eye smile. Yeah, because he's such a pretty cat. And then one of the stray cat, he's a stray cat. We call him Mikey because he eats anything. And super friendly. Has no problem with me rubbing his belly, which tells me he's very domesticated. And I'm hoping that somebody starts posting his pictures online saying, hey, where the crap is my cat? That way we can find out what in the hell is going on, because somewhere between here and there, he's getting tore the fuck up. And I'm thinking this time it was humans. Oh, Boris, not all cats. I met a few that were ugly, but they had such a nice nature to them. Even the ugly ones have a good nature. Of course, the ugly one that I'm talking about, his name was Chainsaw. The cat is still limping, day 3. Still will not put any pressure on the leg, but as far as I can tell, nothing is broken. The leg is straight. Well, he's a bit of a bow-legged cat. His appetite is good. I've put him on a harness. We've hopped him around the yard. I say hopped because that's how he's traveling right now, is by a hop, and it's not fast. I couldn't turn him loose in that condition. Patrick, I actually have not taken him to the vet. Mostly because I just dumped $2,000 on my cat, which would be Trump, back in December. Haven't quite recovered from that, and I'm not sure I have the financial means to take a stray up there. The other problem is, around here, if you take the stray up to the vet, by default, he becomes yours. And he doesn't want to stay here. I don't want to be that person who, by default, this pet is now mine, but I'm turning him loose and letting him run. And that's, if he's going to be mine, he's going to be mine. He's going to come in every night. And I've got enough issues right now with 3 cats. I don't need another male cat. Good God. I already have to clean up after them too much. But I will not turn him loose in the neighborhood to fend for himself if he can't make it. Now, we get on to April and he's still got a limp, then by then we'll have gone to the vet. We'll figure it out by then. Oh, you know what? I didn't. But I could do that. So why don't we go ahead and do that and go, roll call. What are you smoking in? What are you smoking it in? Don't worry, Sharon. You don't have to be smoking anything. you have two white cats with red eyes, and then you have a black cat and a tortoiseshell cat. Because the black and white cat that Paul showed the other day is a tuxedo. Patrick Grant smoking GLP Gaslight in his Radice Rhine Bulldog. Oh, very nice. Of course, I am again smoking a Punch Champion. It's just their classic line. It's not an expensive smoke, but satisfying. My oldest cat wants in. Not even mine. Wait, nope. He's decided to turn around and hide under the chair. It'd take me 10 minutes to drag him out of there. Hi, Toby. Everett Young's got Haunted Bookshop in his OMS Devil Ants. While I've never been a fan of the shape of the devil ants, I've heard they are excellent smoking. It's just something about the aesthetic. For me personally, it doesn't make sense. Though I do like some Haunted Bookshop from time to time. Woo! Boris is talking about packing some Latakia and a Cobb in a couple of minutes. It's probably because we're only a few minutes out from watching Mr. Stumbo. Howdy, Matthew. Great to see you, sir. Hopefully you're doing well. I know I personally am. Burley gives me hiccups. I don't know why. I could smoke straight Latakia like it's nothing. Probably too many years hanging around the barbecue pit. If you show up at Texas and they're having a barbecue, it's going to smell like a whole lot of Latakia. Just trust me on that one. Boris, I figured that was probably a Stumbo blend that you were going to be smoking. Well, I've never really had a poker pipe. I'm pretty good at the game, though. You know that theory of one chip in a chair? I'm going to go ahead and tell this story. Back in my heavy drinking days, I'll admit to the fact that I had them. I had some demons and I tried to drink them out of existence, and really that didn't do me any good. I finally beat that demon that I grabbed hold of and rode off into the sunset. Yes, I still drink, but I don't drink like that anymore. But where I lived, they had a bar walking distance, and every Wednesday night they had a poker tournament. $5 get you in. Only person getting paid out is the person that wins. They get half of everything that goes in. Everybody gets 2 beers. So the bar was basically giving one beer away for free and charging only $2.50 for the other one. Well, I one time got down to literally a chip, and I was in the big blind. We were playing Texas Hold'em. So my one chip went in. Automatically, I was all in. Howdy, Mark. Great to see you, sir. I put my chip in, got dealt my cards. Don't even remember what my cards were. But I won, so I doubled up. Actually, I a little more than doubled up because I got the one portion that everybody was calling or covering mine. The next hand came through. Pocket aces. I remember that one. I'm sitting with 2 aces in the pocket. I was like, man, you know, it's been a good run all in. On the flop, 2 aces and a king. I'm already all in, but it's such a small stack. Nobody's even worried. So they're raising and betting and this, that, the other. Now I've got a decent little stack. Ended up, by the end of the night, I won that tournament. Now, I won on full houses, 4s and 8s. What I won with. I had a 4 and an 8. The flop showed a 4 and the 8. The river showed a 4. Ended up winning the tournament. There were 50 people there. Times 5, divide by 2. That's what I walked out with. Well, minus my beer tab, which was extensive, but as far as it goes, I probably would love a poker-shaped pipe, just that I've never had one before. Howdy, Martin. Great to see you, sir. Where are we? All right, 8 minutes out from hanging out with Mr. Stumbo. Martin, are you going to be hanging out with Stumbo as well? Oh, is it only 6 minutes? 7, 6, 8, something like that. Shortly, we're going to be all hanging out over at Mr. Stumbo's. Oh, very nice. Make sure you comment, because he likes to say, thank you for showing up. I tried that one time, but I'm kind of out here by myself with a phone and no paper. Just not really all that great. Matthew, while it would be fun to get a virtual Texas Hold'em tournament going, the problem would be some people want to play for money and some people only want to play for fun. And right now I'm only in a situation where I can play for fun. Howdy, Odie. Great to see you, sir. Odie, by the way, go back through the first 30 minutes of this show. You'll love the content, because I think you'll agree with every take that I have on the NFL. will definitely say that I've always had fun playing cards or the games of gambling and chance. I got asked to leave Vegas once. Well, the hotel I was staying at in Vegas. They thought I was cheating. So real quick, I'll tell that story. I walked into a Vegas hotel, had a job going, got myself my room, figured out that the job didn't start for 3 days, so I had 3 days to just do nothing. And so I go down to the sports book area, and I started betting on dogs. But just before I had gone to Vegas, I had seen all of these dogs run at Gulf Greyhound Park, which is right down the road from me. And I still had the book. And I recorded all the, well, this dog runs fast in these conditions, this dog doesn't. And the conditions were exactly the same on the track that they were at as the one that they were televising, or whatever they call it, simulcasting, or whatever it is. So I started betting the sheep because it was the same dogs as 2 weeks previous. And I brought my sheet just because, hey, if the same dog showed up maybe at a different track, maybe, you never know, you get lucky sometimes. Well, it was the same dogs in the same races, in the same conditions. I just started betting the sheep, but I was only betting $2 for the first 2 races. Then I started betting bigger money and like the trifectas and superfectas and throwing parlay this, that, and the other down, and really I was there to drink bourbon and smoke cigars. Well, I was drinking bourbon all right, and I was smoking a cigar all right. And then some guy that looked like he could have made anybody in the WWE back up and take a dirt road through 5th Ward walked up, laid a hand on my shoulder, and he said, "Son, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." And I was like, can I finish my... No. Can I finish? No. Yes, sir. Okay. Can I walk through the hotel with my cigar lit? Because I'll smoke it outside. No. I got thrown out of a casino in Vegas. Not by cheating, but by pure luck, being able to bet the same exact dogs. But they did pay me out my winnings. They just really didn't like what I was doing. Howdy Mark, also Mark, aka Welsh Piper 62. Great to see you, sir. And Odie, I hope y'all don't get Gronk. Because the only way Gronk's effective is if Brady's throwing to him. It's the reason why he retired when Brady said, I'm going to pack it in. And then suddenly he was like, I'm going to Tampa Bay. And suddenly Gronk was, I'm going to Tampa Bay as well. It's that chemistry. Burrows isn't going to have that chemistry with Gronk the way Brady does. And Gronk's not going to, he's not going to like that. Just saying. Burrows has already got his number one target. We saw that in the Raiders game. Every time he needed an extra little oomph, he threw it to that one guy. Don't even mention his name. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Yo, 601. Hey, is Stumbo on? Somebody please check. I would love to have all 13, well 14 including me, of us go and bombard Stumbo's channel. So, real quick while somebody's checking because YouTube didn't tell me yet, ladies and gentlemen, I have had so much fun having you here. Sorry if you don't like football talk. I get it. I get it. I'm sorry. I'm a sports fanatic. I love sports. If it's been on ESPN ever, I've probably watched it. And yeah, poker's on ESPN, so there you go. As soon as ESPN puts on synchronized knitting, I'm going to be a big fan of that one too. ESPN, don't do that to me. Just don't do that to me. But as I always like to say, everybody take care of yourselves. Okay, he's live. All right. Thank y'all for being here. It's been great having y'all here. Remember, take care of yourselves and each other. Do the best you can with that. And as per always, remember, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care, and I will see you at James's house here in just a minute. And bye for now.